It's how do I do this? Let's see.
Why did that make me laugh so much? One syllable.
It is E3 season, everyone, except E3's dead. So, it is now Nintendo Direct season. And although one hasn't been officially announced yet, we're pretty sure it's going to be next week based on a variety of factors happening in the industry. Now, if it doesn't, hey, we'll have egg on our face, whatever. But I wanted to talk about what our general expectations are for the Direct, what we're hoping for specifically, both prediction-wise and also just our grander hopes at this point. I've got one that I keep predicting time and time again. At this point, it's not even a real prediction. It's a hope at this point. So I just needed to happen though. So one thing that's different about this Direct though is that it's the first Direct since the Switch came out that we now know the successor is real. Nintendo just recently announced, hey, Switch 2 is coming, or whatever it ends up being called, and at the same time that they announced a Direct to be happening this month. They also said Switch 2 will not be in this Direct. But that doesn't mean it won't have some kind of impact, because it makes me wonder, knowing that a Switch 2 is coming, how could that affect what's going to happen in this Switch, or in this Direct? Will we have a final blowout for the current Switch, or is it going to end up being, a kind of more of a whimper, like we have had so many other Nintendo systems before, where their final year is kind of sucks? Joey, as a resident cynic, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm about a 6 out of 10 hype level for this Direct. I don't think it's going to be anything incredible. Just knowing like the Switch 2 is going to happen, Switch successor, whatever it's going to be called. I just feel like Nintendo's doing this out of obligation for like the rest of the year, because we really don't know what they have coming the rest of the year. So this is them just saying, hey, here's what we're going to have. Get ready for a lot of like not real bangers. I guess that's just what I'm thinking. I don't think nothing's going to knock our
socks off. No more heavy hitters?
No more. I really don't think there's going to be any more heavy hitters, but we'll see.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, in terms of hype levels, I'm probably a little bit higher at a 7. I don't think it's going to be like an incredible Direct, but I do think, just going off the fact that we don't really know much else for the rest of this year, outside of like the next 1 month, I do think we're going to see some surprises in there that are like neat, maybe not like incredibly high hype level though. But yeah, because you really have to think about the fact that they're probably going to be saving most of those bigger heavy hitters for the Switch 2 launch and for that like first year of it. So it kind of naturally makes sense that this year's probably going to be a little bit lower comparatively. But I don't think it's going to be like a snooze fest Direct. And it would kind of suck if it did, because this is the first proper Direct we've had since last September. Yeah. They didn't do
almost
their usual February.
Yeah, that's wild. And that's where we had F-Zero 99 announced, which feels like forever ago at this point.
Yeah.
Partially maybe for that reason, Triss. I might be on the more optimistic side. I actually am kind of expecting bigger things here for a few different reasons. One, I think Nintendo had, I could be mistaken. I think they've largely figured out this final year problem, right? Because, with the Switch, it consolidated their handheld and console teams basically just one single platform. I think, they've talked before how they've, focused on mitigating gaps in the release schedules, and we've seen that even this past year, even if the lineup was largely consisting of remakes and remasters. And I think, while you are right that they want to hold on to, at least some heavy hitters for the Switch 2, of course, I still think with a demographic as big as the Switch, you're doing yourself a disservice if you hold out everything for the Switch 2. That's such a big market right now that you want to cater to. And I think there is a chance that we'll get at least a big game here that we're, maybe not expecting at this point. Yeah. So I'm gonna go 8. I'm hoping for an 8 for this. If we get an 8, I'll be happy. But that's a good final solid year for the Switch as its own, isolated platform. So, and there's always a potential too, we could get announcements for games on Switch that will then, have better versions or play better on Switch 2 or whatever.
That's true.
All right. So before we get into our predictions and general thoughts and everything, there are a couple of games we know about going into this that aren't yet out. At this point. So first off, Luigi's Mansion 2 due out in a couple of weeks. Generally, when games are that close, we don't really see much of them in the Direct. So maybe a sizzle reel, but that's really it. I'm not really expecting anything major from it. It seems like it's basically the original game we all knew and kind of loved for some at that point.
Kind of loved, right?
There's also Nintendo World Championship NES Edition launching July 18th, which I don't even know what more you could show of that game. Maybe they're sitting on something. Are we expecting it in the Direct?
I don't think so. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say no. I think about everybody 1-2 Switch last year that didn't even have a spot in the June Direct either, and I feel like this is the same kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't see either of those games really showing up here. The closest is if, like, I don't know, if they accompany the Direct with, like, a Nintendo Treehouse Live bit, and then they do, like, here's a little bit of Luigi's Mansion 2 Scarescraper, because that's coming out in a week, but, like, or a little bit of Nintendo World Championships, like, with, like, 4 people in the room, but maybe, like, you know, an hour total of that on, like, a stream, not the Direct.
Yeah,
I don't see them in there.
I totally agree with that. Nintendo seems to try to save Directs for the larger announcements. Not always, of course. I'm not expecting it here. Now, there is another game we know, a big game that's been announced for next year. The only other game we know about for sure, besides one other we'll get to, being Pokémon Legends Z-A. Do we think it could show up in this Direct? Because that is announced again for next year, but could we see more of it this year?
I don't think it'll show up here at all. Personally, I don't think it'll show up here at all.
Do we really see Pokemon games in Directs like this, or do they save those?
Not often.
Okay.
Like last year's June Direct did open with the Scarlet and Violet DLC, but we had already known those were coming. Like they had already announced those in a separate thing. So like yeah, we could, but the fact that we haven't even seen gameplay of Legends, I feel that they wouldn't debut that here. They would debut that in a dedicated like Pokemon Presents like end of summer, sometime in fall kind of thing.
You're forgetting a huge Pokemon game, Triss, that they announced last year. Detective Pikachu returns! How could you forget?
How could anyone forget the glorious game with the best graphics of all time?
No kidding, right? Alright, so those are the 3 we know about, but there is one more game we may know about because we just had a recent anniversary. I think Joey knows what I'm talking about. The 7-year anniversary of the announcement just happened a couple days ago at this point for the announcement of Metroid Prime 4. So this is, Joey, I'm gonna throw this one to you. Is there a chance we see it in this Direct?
Here's my official prediction. No. Next. I am so done being excited for this game. It's been nothing but heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. And I'm so bitter. I'm so salty. I'm done getting excited for Directs because, like, thinking, like, oh, it's gonna be here. This is finally the time. This is finally the time. Because every time I say that, Nintendo's always like, nope, not this time. Not this time. And I'm just like, ugh, it's beyond frustrating, and I'm just not expecting it in this Direct, just because I've become used to disappointment with this game.
Oh, I hear you. I don't blame you. But, you know, one of these times, it's going to happen. It has to happen at some point, one would hope.
It's been 7 years, at any minute now.
And I would not bet on it. I do think there is a chance they do show it here. I think it's possible. I don't think necessarily would come out this year. But remember, I almost forgot that it was specifically announced for the Nintendo Switch platform originally, and they're gonna have to address that at some point. Is it still coming? Is it Switch 2 only? Is it cross-platform compatibility, which I'm personally expecting? So I actually do think it may, at the least, get a name drop here. Like, hey, stay tuned for more on this game in the future. But I think at this point they almost have to.
That's exactly how I see it going, because what I actually think we're going to see of Metroid Prime is we're going to see 2 or 3 show up here. Like, maybe not necessarily remaster, or if it's just like ported to Switch, like Pikmin 1 and 2 were. But I think we're going to have like a little segment that's dedicated to like Metroid Prime 2, maybe 3 as well. And to close that out, there's going to be like a mention. It's like, and don't forget, Metroid Prime 4 is happening, and it's like next year, and it's like your first look, and it's like just like a camera pan on Samus, like
armor reveal,
yeah, exactly, like nothing crazy, nothing like a big look at the game, but your first like actual like look at something from it, and that's it.
I'm glad you're all more optimistic than I am, because I am done. I am beat. I'm just like, yeah. I do think like, yeah, it does always have a chance here, especially now. And man, I just feel like if you're saving it for Switch 2, like cross-gen, I still feel like you owe us Switch owners, people who bought the Switch for this game, because there are people who straight up bought a Switch after seeing that logo reveal. Yeah. I feel like you owe us something. You owe us a look at this game, straight up.
Especially since that's what happened with Breath of the Wild. It was announced as Zelda Wii U for so long, and when they first really showed it off, it was the Wii U version. And they mentioned, oh yeah, you know, it is also going to be on the NX. Yeah. But I think that would be the way to do it with this game. If it is going to be multi-plat, you put the focus on the Switch version until you're really at the next thing.
True.
You're 100% right there, Tris. I think that would be a great way of handling it. I mean, if they want to try and turn Metroid into a larger franchise, mirroring it after how they handled Breath of the Wild, which did the exact same thing for Zelda. I mean, Zelda's already big, but it took it to the stratosphere of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And I think mirroring that launch strategy is such a good idea, where you can now show off Metroid Prime 4 on the Switch, and then without showing off Switch 2, they can even say it's coming to Switch 2. I mean,
yeah.
if they want. And then it would then itself act as an ad for the Switch 2 platform, assuming it hits both on the same day or around the same time. So that'd be such a smart way of handling it, and I hope that they do, especially just for Joey's sake. Joey needs something at this point, Nintendo.
I'm dying over here. Look, thanks for Dread, thanks for Prime Remastered, but this is the game. This is the main course. This is what I've been waiting for I was about to say half my life. Not really, but it feels like half my life.
And
Joey's only 14 confirmed.
And combining it with a announcement of Metroid Prime 2 or 3 remastered, maybe both, is such a good idea too. So is that an official prediction, Tris? Is that one of your... Okay, you're predicting...
Yep.
So restate what you are predicting specifically.
I predict specifically we're going to get like Metroid Prime 2, maybe 3 as well here, coming to Switch, just like how we had last year Metroid Prime Remastered. Even though it's probably going to be more like Pikmin 1 and 2, where it's just the game ported, as opposed to like a remaster. But I think that section will close with like the narration saying, like the narrator saying, like, and don't forget, next year, Metroid Prime 4, and it's like one look at it.
Okay, right. Yeah.
That's it.
I think, we get like a quick glimpse, because it's been so long at this point that they could get away with another teaser, I think. And, I mean, anything. They could just show anything, people would be excited. So I hope you're right, Tris. And I think the timetable works out well with, Metroid Prime 4 presumably being, hopefully next year, I mean, at the latest. And having 2 and 3 kind of fill that gap before then. And if they're not released at the same time, probably would staggered a few months. But I think we'll get the announcement of both around here. And I really, my secret hope, I'm also expecting it to be a simpler remaster than the actual remaster that one was titled.
Right.
But it's a little confusing. But I am hoping that maybe based on the success of 1, in fact it's been over a year, that maybe they went back to the drawing board and decided to upgrade 2 and 3 similarly. But
that'd be nice.
See. All right, so one other thing I'm doing here, guys, just so you know, is I went back to the previous Direct from last year, June 2023. Sorry, not the previous one, but the June Direct.
Yeah.
And they announced 6 brand new games in that Direct. So I have 6 slots here that we're going to fill up as we go through this. We may end up over, and we'll kind of consolidate it at the end. So right now I have Metroid Prime 2 and 3 as one slot. I'm not counting Metroid Prime 4 because that's already been announced technically, even though it doesn't really count. But in any case, so that's one game down potentially. So let's go ahead and move into, I think, our official predictions then, now that we got all the games we kind of know about out of the way. And let's start with you, Tris. What is your first prediction here beyond Metroid, I guess? So.
I've talked about this a bit throughout the last few months. I confidently believe we're seeing a Mario Party show up. The last few Mario Parties, you had Super Mario Party and Mario Party Superstars. There were 3 years in between both of those, and it has now been 3 years since Superstars. And I firmly believe we're getting a new Mario Party announced here, releasing October, November. Same cycle as the last few. Probably Superstars 2 kind of thing, where it's more like classic Mario Party, maybe a collection, just because I think at this point, that's the faster, easier thing for them to put together. Whereas, Super, like... The first one on the Switch is much more like gimmicky and like about like the features of the console. That kind of Mario Party, I think they would save for Switch 2 if it has any new features going on for it, any new mechanics to it. So I think we're due for a new classic Mario Party collection or not.
I had the same prediction, Tris. What a surprise!
I beat you to it.
Yep, you did. So yeah, I mean, because we had that leak, that supposed leak, or not a leak, I guess, the code name that seems to line up. The time frame works out, and I think Mario Party is not a system seller. It's a game that caters to a large demographic, and people will. And I think you want to have it on the platform with a huge install base. So I think it makes sense for it to come to the Switch 1. And I think that'd be a great way to round out the year. Like, it'd be a great quarter 4 title, especially with it being the holidays, and it's a fun thing to play with your family. My hope, though, is that, I'd be happy with the Superstars 2 only because, it's ND Cube, right? Finally figuring out what people want in Mario Party again. But my hope is that they they take a lesson from that and apply it to a brand new Mario Party. Brand new boards, brand new mini games, maybe some actual new ideas in there too. But you know what? If it's just Superstars 2, hey, I'll take that too. But I am hoping for like a brand new boards, brand new everything, and that they don't screw it up. That's the biggest hope. Yeah. Please don't screw it up, NDQ.
Please don't.
All right, I'm gonna add that in as our second game now then. So far, okay. Metroid Prime 2 and 3, Mario Party. All right, let's move on. Joey, what do you have for us?
So here's the thing. I thought of 3 different games. One of them is original, 2 of them are remasters, because Nintendo seems to be really on the remaster train lately. The first one is a Zelda remaster, but not any of the ones that you're thinking of. I'm thinking Nintendo's going to go really weird, and for some reason, they're going to give us a remaster of A Link Between Worlds.
I have that on here too.
No way! That's so funny.
Awesome, actually.
Yeah, that's so funny, because like, I think, okay, how many times am I going to predict Twilight Princess and Wind Waker? Don't care.
Right.
Oracle games, whatever, but I'm just like, Nintendo's weird. They're going to do this. I just have a feeling.
No, I'm right there with you, because I was thinking about it, and it's like, well, yeah, everybody's been predicting Oracle remakes ever since Link's Awakening happened, but those are on NSO. And everybody's been really wanting like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and I really want those too, but theoretically, those have happened more recently, even though it was like 10 years ago, and on the Wii U, they've done those, at this point, save them for the next thing so they look better.
Right. 4K.
A Link Between Worlds is now over 10 years old. That game's now over 10 years old, and we already see this kind of thing happening with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, where they're trying to bring some of their 3DS games over to the Switch, because it's not like you can realistically go buy 3DS games, at least off the shop, anymore. So I can actually see A Link Between Worlds not only happening, but being a good choice, because Link's Awakening was, 2019, I think? So it's been like 5 years since the last 2D Zelda. So
yeah, I just, you have better reasonings than I do. I'm just sitting here thinking like okay, if Zelda's gonna be here, it's gonna be in some way that doesn't make any sense to me. But like, yeah, you gave it some logic, it being like the 10th anniversary of that game. So, or like it's beyond that now. I think that came out.
I think it's 11 now.
Yeah,
I think it was
right.
2013. So
that's true.
Yeah, I actually think that makes a lot of sense. That's a game that would I feel like pretty easily port over or be remastered for the Switch. It doesn't need to be in 4K, so there's no reason to hold on to it for Switch 2. And I think it's a game that, even though it sold well, a lot of people, missed, either by skipping at a time or having been born since in those 11 years. Yeah. And like myself, I barely played the original, so I myself might enjoy playing it more on a console on my TV than I did back then. So yeah, Tris, that's a good one, I think. Or sorry, Joey.
We both have it, but
I started it.
Yes.
We'll give you credit for it then, Joey. So yeah, let's hope that happens. I like that, because I had heard rumblings in the past of the Oracle games being remade, but it doesn't make sense now at this point with the NSO version. So I'm fully agree. I'm in agreement with you guys. All right, I guess it's time for one of my predictions then. So since one is already taken, I'll go with my next one, which is that I am predicting, I think it's finally time, based on something I mentioned earlier that happened last year. We're getting it, F-Zero GX remaster. We know Nintendo loves the remasters, and I think we're going to get more of them. Plenty more of them, probably. And I think it is time. F-Zero GX. There's now life in the brand. It has... People care about F-Zero again. People are ready. And I think, I think there have been rumblings, too, of this happening as well. And I think this is the time. Such a great way of closing out the Switch, giving a resurgence to F-Zero. Especially because I feel like this is... maybe I'm off base. I think if you want to reboot F-Zero, like get people caring about it again, it's smarter to do it on a platform everyone already owns rather than a new platform that no one does at that point. So I think it makes perfect sense. F-Zero GX still looks amazing to this day. They wouldn't have to do much to make it look great on Switch. And if they just add like some online or something else, that'll be the cherry on top. So that is my prediction. And I gotta hope it's true.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense, and the timing is also perfect, because it's this is kind of the Switch install base at its highest.
Exactly.
With the announcement of a new console, it's not really going to go much higher at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
It will, but not like noticeably higher.
Right.
So it is a good time, because the audience there is big enough, but also Mario Kart DLC is done.
That's true.
And
good point.
Nintendo fans probably want some different racer at this point. And it's well timed at that point then.
You just reminded me, Tris, of how Nintendo used to have so many freaking racers, and now they have freaking just Mario Kart. Like Mario Kart S099 now, thankfully. But for like 10 years it was just Mario Kart. I'm sick of just Mario Kart. Give me more of those classic Nintendo racers. Where are the Excite bikes? Where are the wave races? Where's all that? You know? So
this kind of ties into my next prediction because I feel like Nintendo's been showing the GameCube a lot of love lately, like tons of love. Like Metroid Prime last year, Thousand Year Door this year, which is why I'm thinking of another GameCube remaster that's been highly sought after. Also another racer. We're talking Kirby Air Ride, baby.
Ooh, yes. My God!
I think it's a really good time. When did that game come out? 2004, or was it later?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So 20th anniversary as well.
I think.
Yeah, or one of those. We're around that time frame now. And just the fact that Nintendo seems to be giving us what we want in terms of GameCube remasters, like with those two games. There's probably more than I'm forgetting. Probably not. But I just feel like in my bones, it's time for Kirby Air Ride to come back to the mainstream, especially now. Kirby's probably bigger than it's ever been, too, on Switch. Like, with, the Forgotten Land, and what was the one the remaster that came out from Wii, the Return to Dreamland Deluxe?
Yep.
Yeah, and I have also thought, too, Kirby is going to be in this direct in some fashion, I feel like. So
has to be.
I feel like Air Ride would be the one to get people really excited.
Oh, absolutely. It would get people excited. And, I mean, Kirby's basically like an annual series at this point now, whether it's spin-off or main game. There's something Kirby every year. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense for it to show up here in some way. And that would be a fantastic one.
Yeah, I think you made a good point, Joey, in that I think Kirby is a safe bet on this. But Air Ride, that's a bold choice. I would love it. That's one of my favorite Kirby games. But that's also why I'm not quite expecting it. I don't know. I'm not quite feeling it. But are there any other Kirby games that could be? Tris, you're the Kirby expert. What do you think?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't think it would be another, like, remaster of a mainline game. So I think it would have to be some other spin-off. And there's not many spin-offs other than Air Ride. There's, like...
Could it be a new
DS
spin-off?
And Wii U. There could be a new spin-off. There could be a new spin-off. But if we're thinking of, like, remasters, there's, like, Canvas Curse and Rainbow Curse. But those would be a little hard to do on a Switch, unless you really like map the Joy-Con like pointer. But
so why are you ruling out any other mainline games? Because we just
because we had Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I guess like a year and a half ago at this point. I guess we could see a remaster of one of those. I was just thinking because we haven't had a Kirby spin-off in a while, and they tend to jump back and forth on those. The last one was Dream Buffet. I think like well over a year ago now at this point.
That's true.
So
the poor game. It was a cool concept. But
it was a really cool concept, but yeah. So I think we're due for something else on that front. Something they could drop as either like an eShop title or a remastered spin-off. So I really do hope it's Air Ride. I would love that, Joey.
That would be amazing. Especially, it had the land mode, which I don't know if it helps make online easier or not, but I'm going to say it does, which means hopefully get online Kirby Air Ride. Oh, that'd be
sick.
That would be great.
All right. Tris, do you have another actual proper prediction for us?
I do. And it's another Mario one.
I think I know where it's going.
You and I have talked about this a few times. I'm sorry if I'm yet again stealing off of your list.
I actually changed mine during this, so I think we're safe now.
Okay. We've had a lot of Mario Sport games on the Switch at this point. Yep, here we go. And
Joey's tuning out.
And we've had the revival of Mario Strikers. Even though Battle League wasn't that good, we've seen that they're willing to revisit some of the series they haven't in quite some time. And we've talked about this for several direct predictions over the last couple of years. I think it's time for a new Mario Baseball. I really do. I really do think this is it.
This is the Metroid Prime 4 prediction, but for the rest of y'all. Every single prediction.
Joey, you think your 7-year wait for Metroid Prime 4 is bad? Our 16-year wait for new Mario Baseball dwarfs it.
Now that is half my life.
Oh man, Tress, I hope you're right, because I just want a new Mario Baseball. But again, I'm almost afraid too, because they've screwed up to some degree every other Switch Mario Sports game, and it really needs to harken back to that classic era. Like even the Wii version was already starting to go down a path I didn't quite love compared to the GameCube one. Although in hindsight, I probably would love it more these days than I did then. And I hope that they figure out like what the magic was that made that game work so well, you know? Yeah. And I'm just afraid that they're screwing it up. Like I don't need any crazy gameplay mechanics. Just go back to what worked. Go back to basics, you know? It's been so long now, everyone's cool with it.
No, exactly. And I mean, like, the closest we've had, the fact that they're willing to recognize baseball was, I think, like, at this point, like, 7 or 8, or 6 or 7 years ago with the 3DS, like, Mario Sports Superstars, where the baseball was not one of the highlights to come out of that, to be honest. That was a rather poor collection, but they had soccer in there, they had baseball in there. They kind of proved then they're willing to look at those sports for Mario again. And then since then, yeah, a few years ago we had Battle League. So I'm really hoping Mario Baseball is going to happen, especially since it's kind of clear the only other sport route Mario could have gone would have been Summer Olympics with Sonic, and that's clearly not happening. Right. So.
It's been so long since baseball too. There's like so many more characters they can add now. Like the last one was before Rosalina, I think.
Yep.
Or right around the Rosalina wasn't in it, I think.
Yeah, she wasn't in it, but it was like around the same time.
Exactly. You know, of course, Odyssey could be a fun influence on it. Like, there's a lot they could do, and especially online. Because I don't think the original had online, did it? Or nope. If it did, yeah, right. It's time. We need it. Darn it, Nintendo! Yeah. Just don't screw it up too. It's a Mario Party thing all over again. Please stop messing things up. All right, we'll go on to my what is actually my final prediction. I think that I have clearly laid out here, and that is to Joey. You mentioned you were predicting a Sakurai game in the form of Kirby Air Ride. I'm predicting another Sakurai game instead, being Kid Icarus Uprising. I think there is merit to the potential teases Sakurai has had there, and I think it'd be an amazing way to kind of close out the Switch with a full-on HD remaster of that game. You don't really need to add any content. You could probably refine some elements of it. But man, if they just remade or remastered that game on Switch, I'm there. That would be, especially because as one who wasn't a huge fan of the original control scheme, I think it'd be way more fun playing on the TV with like a pointer-based controls or whatever they come up with. And I would love it.
Yeah,
so
I've been wanting that one too, but I feel like it's one of those things that's been. It's one of those like pie in the sky, like please God, let this happen prediction. Just like I don't know, kind of feels like the Half-Life 3 of like Nintendo predictions at this point, which Metroid Prime 4 used to be, still kind of is, but the difference is now that game's announced. Kid Icarus HD has not been announced, but you know I'd love it. I almost feel like that could be something to close this direct too, and like with the release, with the release year of like 2025, no platforms listed.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh, you know what? Yeah, I definitely see that being the case, because if you had that actually as an early like Switch 2 title available on Switch 1 as well, but like primarily like made for Switch 2, that would be pretty big.
That'd be amazing. So at that point, that's a full-on remake, and hey, I'm there for it. So that'd be great. That'd be dope.
That would be cool.
All right. Do we have any other predictions we have not covered yet?
Yeah, I have one more prediction that's not a remake or a remaster of any kind.
Good.
And I feel like if Nintendo's gonna have a big holiday game for Switch this year or something, it's got to be something that'll make people go bananas. Bananas. Bananas.
Is it Donkey Kong?
Yes, it's Donkey Kong. Come on, man. You know, we've had that rumored Donkey Kong game for such a long time now. I don't know if this would be like the same thing, but like an original Donkey Kong adventure, be it 3D or 2D. I feel like, especially now, like we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong this year. Donkey Kong's getting his own theme park. You know, he was big in the movie. I feel like Nintendo has yet to really capitalize on Donkey Kong. So I think like a new Donkey Kong game being a big holiday title would make sense. I feel like that would sell kind of all the things that could sell, maybe not sell Switches, but like get the current Switch owners to like buy something this year before Switch 2 is released. Then it'd have to be this character.
Yeah, no, you're right, especially with the movie influence and the fact that, like we were saying earlier, like with F-Zero, this is the install base. Like, it makes more sense to do it here on the platform that everybody owns as opposed to on the new one. And I hope so, because Donkey Kong's also been waiting a very long time for a new game.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Donkey Kong probably isn't a huge system seller. That still goes to Mario and Zelda. Although Zelda wasn't either until it became one. So maybe Donkey Kong could fulfill that role. But I do think it makes more sense to have a new DK be on the current Switch, at least if it's going to launch in the nearish future. But hey, I'd be happy to be wrong. I'm happy in either case. I just want more Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
So please. I think that would be a good one to end on, too. Or not even have to end on, but that would be a good one, period, to have here, Joey. So, and that would be pretty hype-inducing, for sure. For me, especially as a huge Tropical Freeze fan, DKCR fan, Donkey Kong fan in general. And we did just have, too, Mario vs. Donkey Kong this, a few months ago at this point. And so they're kind of, I don't know, they could be building up to it,
Yeah.
For sure.
Here's hoping. All right, Tris, do you have any other predictions?
I do. I have since we were talking a lot about different GameCube remasters and things like that. I do think, because I know I kind of opened my predictions with Metroid Prime 2 and or 3, but there is another one that I could see happening here just because time-wise it kind of makes the most sense to be in this direct, and that's Luigi's Mansion, the original Luigi's Mansion, and I could see it being here. Kind of more like the Pikmin 1 and 2. It's not like a full HD, it's just here's the game on Switch, because Luigi's Mansion 2 is the HD. And they'll announce it for September, October. Maybe digitally sooner, but physically in time for Halloween. Because they kind of did that with Pikmin, where it was digital, I think it was right after the Direct, but physical wasn't until the fall. I can see them doing something like that and having all 3 Luigi's Mansion games on the Switch.
That'd be so funny, and releasing them in reverse order. First there's 3, then there's 2, then there's 1. Let's go.
What are they counting down to?
I don't. Luigi's Mansion 0.
Yeah. Trent,
Instead of 4.
I love Luigi's Mansion, so I'd be happy for that. For some reason, I don't know why, I'm trying to picture it, and it just does not add up for me. I'm not. I can't see that happening. I think it might just be because of how non of an upgrade Luigi's Mansion 2 looks, and then I feel like.
That's fair.
Yeah, I feel like they'd be competing with each other too much. I feel like that's a lot of Luigi's Mansion. For whatever reason, Pikmin didn't quite trigger the same sense for me. So yeah, but hey, I'd be happy to be wrong because I would definitely replay the first one rather than 2. So
yes, true.
Is there a chance, Tris, that I could that could be announced as part of an NSO upgrade, basically, or part of a new NSO expansion if we got a new platform added to it?
Oh god, I didn't even think of this. That'd be insane.
It's time. Aren't we overdue for a new system to be added?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's also just Nintendo's been doing the GameCube remasters also.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, but that didn't stop them from making Super Mario RPG remake at the same time, so... I don't know, that would be a great way to cap off the Switch, especially if everything carries over to Switch 2 anyway. So, man, that would be hype.
The way I see it happening is NSO's presence here was going to be a bunch of new announcements for N64, Game Boy Advance, the expansion pack ones mainly. Any other Game Boy ones in there too. But I think they'll mainly be announcing like Smash 64, DK64, games people have been waiting for on the NSO platforms. And then if GameCube ever happens, I think, however they would end up handling it, I think that would be saved for Switch 2. As something, as an incentive for it. Whether it's on the current expansion pack, but specifically only on Switch 2, or however they would end up handling it, I see that being something they use to push people for the Switch 2 because they know how much people want access to GameCube games.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're gonna milk the GameCube as much as they can because they're gonna keep remaster. We've predicted more GameCube remasters in this very stream, and they're gonna keep milking out for as long once they've exhausted the biggest titles. So, and they'll probably save GameCube for Switch 2. I agree with you. But are there any other platforms they could add? Dreamcast maybe.
Ooh, another Sega one would actually be really good.
It would be, but I'm thinking another console. It starts with a V and ends with a boy.
That they missed their chance, Joey, by not bringing it to Labo VR.
I know.
I wrote it off. Yeah, total shame. All right. Any other predictions we have?
I'm fresh out.
I am out of set predictions. Yeah.
Even DLC wise, I mean, I know Mario Kart's over. Or we're not really expecting Mario Party at this point. But we're expecting a brand new game. Is there anything else they could do DLC for existing titles that we're not quite thinking of?
I can't think of any. Is there? Splatoon 3 is like fresh out. Like they just came out with their last big one,
summer.
I think. Yeah. And I really can't think of it. Watch Mario Party Superstars DLC finally instead of a new game.
I would actually be okay with that. I'm finally fulfill that wish of mine.
You mentioned Splatoon, and I just realized it probably will be here not as a DLC, but announcing like the big final Splatfest for end of the summer.
It'll be
They'll probably-
something
they'll
really
probably do that
dark again, like what do you do at the end of the world or something.
Is that game already like coming to an end? Have they?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff for the new season that started. Seems like the final season, and they said there was gonna be 2 years of support for the game, and September makes 2 years since the game came out. So.
I hate how Nintendo handles Splatoon. I hate it. Splatoon 3 just came out. I swear to God, that game just came out. They should treat that more as a live service title. It bugs me that it's almost already dead. Like, why even bother buying a new Splatoon when they all die within just a year or two? So, I would still go back to Splatoon 1 if I could, but I can't now, thanks Nintendo.
They did make sure you can't do that. Yeah. But other than potentially, I almost said splatentially, unintentionally. I do think the final Splatfest could show up. Otherwise, I don't see any other like DLC or major updates for that game. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they've really come out with anything recently that they could really do like big DLC.
Mario versus Donkey Kong DLC.
There's enough. Yeah,
there's enough content there.
I was thinking though, maybe Mario Wonder. Like maybe they could do something with that, like some kind of new mode, a hard mode or something.
Real bosses.
Yeah, that'd be nice. charge full price for that. Hey, I'd probably know about it.
Even if it's like a harder version, like what you had with
Luigi.
New Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, the Luigi one, where it was basically a hard version of a much harder version of the game. They could definitely do something like that.
Oh, what if they made what if that's how you bring in Wario and Waluigi into the Mario 2D series finally?
Yes,
that would be sick.
Oh, that would be so fun.
200cc mode for Mario Wonder.
you can actually race in the go-kart the entire time.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah. Beyond that, actually, the more I'm thinking about it now, I do think there's a slight possibility of there being like a Mario Party pass or something. You know, like Mario Kart, the Mario Kart DLC pass. Maybe. Small chance, very small chance. I'm still expecting more of a full game, but.
Yeah, I would see a full game. A pass like that, I would see if there was a new Mario Party coming out within the first 2 years of the new Switch, and as a way to keep it going for years. Just because I feel like neither Mario Party on the current Switch has sold enough comparatively to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Because I can definitely understand why they went back to Mario Kart Deluxe with its incredible sales. But while both Mario Parties on Switch have done really well, I don't know if they've done well enough to warrant that much put into them over a new game.
That's true.
Perhaps.
Well, speaking of new games, kind of new games, as I predicted, F-Zero GX remaster. But I think, going along the DLC front, I do think there's a good chance we'll get an F-Zero 99 update here. Because we're coming up on a year at the game's release. They have been doing a pretty good job updating it over time, which is great to see. And I think there could be one last big update for it, and that would be the Satellaview track. So never released in the US. It would, I think, basically double the track count, get some new cars in there, and I think that would be a great way of kind of closing the chapter on that game. So
that would be really nice, actually, and it's like a clear pool of tracks that already exist to pull from.
Right, that most people have not played, so that'd be a really fun way of bringing them over finally.
That would be pretty cool.
Make it happen. Make it happen, Nintendo. There was one other thing I was thinking. Oh, how about, so we've covered all the first-party stuff at this point. Is there anything third-party that we're expecting could be here? Obviously, Nintendo Directs these days are almost more third-party than first-party, so there will definitely be some announcements. Like, for instance, Joey, do you think we'll see Sonic, Shadow Generations here?
Oh, that too, but I was also thinking we need some farming games. Definitely need some farming games.
At least 30 minutes of farming games.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Sonic X Shadow could probably get a first look at how it runs on Switch thing here, and they'll probably just take PS5 footage and bring it down to 30 FPS. I don't know. Yep. That's just probably how they did. No, Sonic Frontiers looked like it was running on a Switch hardware when we saw it at that partner direct that one year. But yeah, we could see Sonic X Shadow here. A big one, Epic Mickey as well. We have not seen that game for a while. It was last shown at GDC. I can't really think of anything else third-party related, like, because the third parties are just realizing, hey, we can't make games for this thing anymore.
Yeah, I imagine there may not be any like big third parties here at this point, just because I think a lot of them are probably going to be on the Switch too at this point.
Yeah.
I think like Monster Hunter Wilds, for example, I expect that to be on Switch 2 before the end of that year.
True.
For example.
Right.
So I hope, at least, if it can run it. But
Though that still is room for like smaller third party or of course indie games. And there was that leak recently, I believe, of a House of the Dead remaster apparently supposedly coming to the Switch.
I thought they already remastered that on Switch. There was a House
remastered again.
I think it's a you're right, they actually did. I think it might be a remaster of the is it a remaster of the Wii version then?
I don't even know. I can't keep track of all these House of the Dead games, man.
I know, there's a lot of them.
How many houses are dead?
So many.
Oh, sorry, House of the Dead 2 remake. That's what it was.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. I heard the first remaster was okay, not that great, so that doesn't really excite me.
It's not. Yeah. You need the light gun. It's not the same without the light gun, and the Joy-Con just does not live up to the
No, it doesn't.
potential you need.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, between us three, unless I missed any, we've predicted 8 games to be announced here, being Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I'm counting that as one. Mario Party, a brand new Mario Party, a Link Between Worlds remaster, an F-Zero GX remaster, a Kirby Air Ride remaster, if not just a Kirby game in general, Mario Baseball, and then also Kid Icarus Uprising, and a new Donkey Kong game. So that's 8 games in total, which is 2 over the 6 announcements of last year around this time for the Direct. So if we had to cut 2, which 2 are we cutting? You guys didn't say 2 solo Kid Icarus Uprisings. I think we gotta cut that out.
Yeah, we can cut that out.
Yeah.
I think that's not happening.
Especially since I see Kid Icarus being a thing for Switch 2. So
Right.
And you can also cut Air Ride as well.
You think Air Ride?
Yeah.
I think Kirby itself has potential, a lot of potential.
I do think Kirby will be here in some way.
All right, then cut a link.
Maybe not.
Cut a Link Between Worlds. I don't know.
Probably Sadla probably is the least likely, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And plus, I prefer your other prediction anyway. All right. Chat, discussers, whoever's watching at this point. Here's what we're thinking. Our official predictions for the Direct being a Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remaster, the possible tease of Metroid Prime 4, a brand new Mario Party, a brand new Donkey Kong, F-Zero GX remaster, a new Kirby game, and a new Mario Baseball. If this happens, what do we think of this Direct?
It's about a good 8.5.
Yeah, if that happens, it's pretty good if that happens.
It's not a
honestly.
10, but it's like I don't even think it's a 9, but it's like an 8.5.
I would give it a 9 at that point, minimum. It would depend on how the Mario Party and the Mario Baseball look.
Exactly. That is a great point. Exactly. If they nail Mario Baseball, I think that combined with the new Donkey Kong plus a new F-Zero GX remaster and a new Mario Party, that is a pretty great lineup, and I'd be very happy with that. I'd probably go 9 on that too. But what do you think the odds of this actually happening? All 6.
What is it? On a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 3. Let's be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if none of this happens. I'll be honest.
I don't know. I think there's a good chance half our list is right. I think half our list is going to be accurate. So, which half? I don't know. But
we'll find out.
I do feel confident in the Mario Party. I am confident in the Mario Party. I will say that.
Right.
It's going to be hilarious if none of these happen. The post-direct conversation is going to be hilarious.
Depressing. It's going to be very depressing.
Yes.
Unless they blow us away with surprise announcements, which is something we didn't get too much into here. Like, there's always a potential of a brand new game, like, that's not even tied to an existing series or a spin-off that we never saw coming. And that, of course, is always the the main hope, I think. Like, if we get something that just totally knocks our socks off, and is truly surprising, that could be a lot of fun. So is our hype more or less than it was at the beginning of the discussion? Joey, where are you at?
It's a little bit higher. It's like a 7.
A little bit higher? Okay.
It's like a 7 now, probably.
Yeah, I'm still at a 7, yeah. In a good way.
I forget what I said. Did I say 8, 8.5, something like that?
He said 8,
thanks, yeah. I'll stay at 8. I think, I don't want to overhype myself, so I'm going to go with 8. I'll be happy with if just a few, if 2 or 3 of these happen, I'd be pretty content. Plus a few of the surprises, but we'll see. Nintendo, please don't disappoint us. We need a good Direct. Yeah, especially as this might be, one of the final ones before the Switch 2. There could be one more in September, I suppose, but that would almost definitively or definitely be the final one. So, anything else before we wrap it up, or are we done here?
I got one question.
Okay.
Since we just to pose to you guys here, since we crossed off the Link Between Worlds remake or remaster, whatever you want to call it, do you guys think there's anything Zelda that could show up? Not brand new 3D Zelda game, but like remastered, spin-off, anything.
It's wild because Zelda is kind of an annual franchise for Nintendo.
That's why I feel like there might be something.
That's why I put the Link Between Worlds as my prediction, because I just feel like it's not whatever Zelda is going to be is not going to be what we want, like what every one of us want, I feel like there is a chance. The only time they missed a Zelda release on Switch was in 2022, so I'm not sure.
Overdue. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a while until the next big 3D game, like a half decade, probably.
Yeah.
Half my life.
Sadly. Yeah, another half of your life. How old is Joey at this point, man?
I don't even know.
But yeah, I really do think we actually will see something in Zelda here as well, which in that case, if we are that confident on Zelda, we got to knock something else off the list then, guys. We did knock off... We did knock off A Link Between Worlds, but we gotta take something else off and we're gonna have a slot for Zelda. So again, Metroid Prime 2/3, Mario Party, F-Zero, Kirby, Mario Baseball, New Donkey Kong. Which one's getting knocked off if we have these 6 announcements? F-Zero? Oh, darn it.
I do think it would be F-Zero.
Darn you guys.
Sorry.
Alright. So let's go new Zelda something. New Zelda remaster. We're leaning toward remaster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Alright. Here is our finalized probably predictions for what could be 6 announcements. There could always be more, of course, but going off the last year's Direct, which is, again, Metroid Prime 2 and Metroid Prime 3 Remaster, again, counted as one. A brand new Mario Party. Sorry, there was a potential Metroid Prime. Let me redo that.
Okay.
Metroid Prime 2 and Metroid Prime 3 Remaster, along with a potential tease of Metroid Prime 4. A brand new Mario Party. A Zelda remaster of some kind. Maybe A Link Between Worlds, or maybe Twilight Princess or Wind Waker HD. Who knows? A brand new Kirby game of some sort. Maybe, or something Kirby, I should say. Yeah. A new Mario Baseball and a brand new Donkey Kong game. So, I'm still happy with this. I'm still happy with this.
Yes, I'm so happy with this.
Yeah. And I think the odds of this happening did increase a little bit. Something Zelda is probably more likely than F-Zero GX Remaster, but I'm still personally sticking with that prediction, whether or not it's realistic. So
that's fine. That's fair.
All right, I think it's going to wrap it for us here, everyone. Those are our official predictions for the upcoming Nintendo Direct. Hopefully. We know there's one happening at some point. Hopefully this is a coming week. But what do you think of this? Are you happy with our predictions, or are you predicting something else? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Which of our predictions do you like? Which do you dislike? Which ones are insane? And what are you personally hoping for? Let us know in the comments. And we'll see you all for the actual Nintendo Direct whenever it hits announced. With that, we'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.